Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. I know it has taken a minute, probably two. Um, it's been a while. Again, experiencing technical difficulties when you're switching up on different devices. Things happen like that. So, very rarely do I go live, but I'll be going live more often now. Greetings to those that are listening in the chat, to those that'll be listening later on. Gonna drop a few nuggets and then I'll be out. Hopefully, this video that I have will play, and I hope you all can hear it. If not, then probably do it at another time when everything is set up. I had one thing set up on one computer, and it is decided that it wanted to update. So now that it is updating, um, we're gonna have to, and when it updates, it takes its own sweet time. So I'm gonna see if this video will play. This is a video of William uh, Saturn. Greetings, Kyle. Unmute yourself. Greetings, my main man, Macadon One. Greetings, no sellout, aka the Voodoo Meister. Oh, now Gabrielle Union wants to show up. Oh man, there you want to show up. You all let me know if you can hear this video. I hope so. It's about 15 minutes long, and he. All right, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, hopefully we are back. If not, let me know. Give me a one if you can hear me. I don't know. As soon as I started the video, it kicked me out for whatever reason. So hopefully it's not buffering anymore. Please give me a one if you can hear me. So we'll try it one more time. All right. Cal unmuted himself and said that we're back. All right. Let me know if you can hear this video again. If not, then I'll just kind of go with a slideshow presentation. As I was saying before, this is William Saturno. He is a historian and archaeologist that his studies are really dealing with Mesoamerica. And he's been doing this for, well over 20 years now. And he found one of the murals in Shoton that really shouldn't have been found. And again, as I was saying before, I will explain later as why it shouldn't be found. But you'll find these if you're digging deep all throughout North, Central, and South America. So he is talking about the mural that an assistant of his found and what they were breaking down and his interpretation of this particular mural. But the mural is not what he thinks it is and what he's explaining. And when I'll explain it in detail again, that culture trumps books, and when you don't know the culture, it's difficult to understand certain things. This video is about 15 minutes. I hope it doesn't bore you, doesn't rock you to sleep. I was planning on doing this a little earlier, but I was kind of making way for some of those that go live because I don't want the information to be overlapped, for lack of a better word. You have a lot of young men, young women, uh, elders that are coming up and actually coming out with information, and I did not want to go live and having people to choose between one or the other. So I'll try to see what their schedule is on doing these things as I go live more often, and I'll try not to step on anyone's toes. I'm gonna hit the button again, and hopefully it will play. You all let me know if you can hear the audio.
It's playing, but you can't hear it.
This thing is giving me the blues. For whatever reason, the sound is not coming through. So let me do this. Let me disconnect my headset, and hopefully it'll play. Now let's try it this way. Give me a one if you can hear me. I'm going to play the video.
And it's really spectacular. I was like, well, that's great, Max. Of course, you know, I just spent the last 10 years dealing with the last mural we found. I just finished it today, so not really interested in a brand new mural really just yet. Like, give me an hour maybe, something like to relish in the fact that I'm now done with the first one that I found and was responsible for. And then it took about a week, and it was actually on Easter Sunday. Finally went out and I said, all right, Max, let's see the murals. And this is Max's mural. I know it's not as cool as the one I just showed, but for Max, this was a circle. You can see the red line. He thought this was the ear. He thought that there was a face here. Then there's this red line. There's this red line. There's not a lot to see. And it's not really a surprise. The looters had uncovered it at some point. It had been left exposed for God knows how long. We have no idea how long it was left out in the rain, in the elements. And so it's not surprising that there's nothing there. And I said, well, Max, that's great. This room was painted. And it's a room inside a house. It wasn't some great temple. It wasn't some monumental architecture. It's a room in a house. I thought that's really great. You know, all we can really do, Max, is find out how big the space is. We can say how much had been painted, but unfortunately, we're never going to know what was on the walls. It's just not going to preserve. We're so close to the surface that it's just not going to be there. But it's cool that we at least get to know that it was painted, that we have evidence of this great residential painting in this house. And I said, all right, let's just find out how big it is. I'm going to touch the back wall, right? Now, I got your wall. I want to touch the other wall. I got 3 walls. I know how big the space is. That's all I need to know. Figured I had about 30 centimeters, about a foot, because looters had excavated into the building. It's about a foot until I reached the back wall, and I excavated that foot. And when I did, that's what I saw. I thought, this one, I laughed out loud, right? The other one, it was like, nice. This one, I was just like, what are the chances, right, that this would actually be, that is preserved? And in fact, what we're looking at was the face of a Maya king, right? This is his great big green-blue headdress, and his eyelash is right here. His eye comes here. This is his nose. This green stuff are feathers coming off of him. He's got this great red hat that he's wearing. It's really spectacular that this would preserve. And this is the building that it's in. It's a tiny little building. It's really only about 3 meters tall. And it's right below the surface. And this is where the looters cut in. And you can see that image on the back wall. But what's in this room, for me, is more remarkable than I could ever have imagined. The walls were painted. The back wall had an image, right, of our Maya king seated right here, right? His great green feathered headdress, right? His red sort of hat that he's wearing, this little white scepter in his hand, this other bag behind him. My favorite guy.
Oh, hot giblets, Gabrielle Union, you already ruined it. I was trying to let the whole video play. That is a female. That is not a male. So you're already saying he's wrong on one point. That is a female that is on the throne, not a male. I'm going to let it keep playing. Keep that in mind. Take that note. It's check one.
This painting, by the way, that guy. You know why I love that guy? It's like the world's first photo bomb, right? I mean, he's just sort of like, did you get me? Am I in this? He's actually labeled as a Batsam. It's a performer, but he's probably helping as a servant holding up the headdress behind him. This guy in front is sort of kneeling, and he's got a title there. It's Itzin Tach. It means younger brother obsidian, something that we don't really understand just yet. But also of interest on the walls are not just this painting of the people, but a whole series of other things, these little texts, little numerical tables that are on the walls. Maya numbers are very simple and very elegant. They represented any number imaginable with three signs. The dot, which is the number 1, right? You have 1 dot, 1, 2 dots, 2, 3, 4, and then a bar for 5. You never get more than 3 bars and 4 dots, the number 19. After that, they use the 0. Right? One of the great inventions of the Maya was the 0, but the 0 to them isn't the same as the 0 to us. To us, a 0 represents nothing, an absence of a number. For them, this is also the glyph for full, complete, right? 0 means that it's so full that you have to start another unit, right? You need to move up. And what these are actually 5-digit numbers, in which these are 1s, these are 20s, right? These are 360s approximately a year. These are 2360s, 7200s, and these are 7200s or 144,000s. They're enormous numbers. And each of these columns ranges, and this is like 2,400,000 something or other. And they're counting days. But what they're counting isn't just days. It's interesting because the Maya had lots of different calendars, not unlike us. They had a solar calendar, 365 days. They had a ritual calendar of 260 days. They combined those two to make a long calendar, 52 years long, which was 18,980 days. Each of these numbers is divisible by 18,980 and 260 and 365. They're all common factors. They're also divisible by 584, which is the period of Venus. They're also divisible by 780, which is the period of Mars. They're also related to a shorter period of 170 some odd days, which is a period of Mercury. They're also tied to a 2,000 some odd day period of the eclipse cycles. The archaeoastronomer Tony Avini looked at this table and thought, if I were a Maya, this would be my room. Right? Because this is about the geekiest room you'll ever see in the Maya lowlands, because what they're doing is they're actually writing these tables. That the only place we've ever seen anything like this are in the books, are in those preserved books. This is another table. In this table, there are a series of numerical columns, and at the top of each column is a glyph of the moon. And each of these columns represents a sum from the previous column. And in each column, they're adding 177 days, sometimes 178. And the reason they're doing that is because that's how they calculated the period of the moon. The moon takes about 29 and a half days to go through its cycle, right? But the Maya didn't like fractions so much, so they used multiplication to get rid of them. So they did 6 lunar cycles, was 177 days. And that's close, but it's not perfect. The same way we use our leap year, right? That 365 days is good, but 366 days every 4 years is better. Even better is every 100 years, you don't do a leap year, right? Centuries, you don't do leap year. Except if it's divisible by 400, then you do a leap year. right? That's our system. We thought the Maya had crazy calendars. Our calendars are just as strange. But what they're doing is they're adding that correction factor so that in the grand total, you have 162 lunations. And it comes out to 4,784 days, which calculates the period of the moon to an error of about 20 seconds over a 13-year period, right? That's what they're doing in this room. They are calculating these things. They are writing them on the wall. They're erasing them. They're writing them again. They're making corrections the same way they do in Maya books. Right? These are these same tables, the same numerical table that I just showed you. This is, of course, from the Dresden Codex. That wall was painted at Schultun in 760 AD. This was done 800 years later. They also do this thing on the wall in Schultun. It's the only other time we've ever seen this. It's a ring number. This was discovered by David Stewart. A ring number, see how they put this little circle around this number 9, or this number 14? That means that this date that they're giving us here, we count backwards. So that it actually takes us into the previous period of creation, which gives us 3207 BC. So they're just counting way back in time. The question is, why are they doing this? Why these incredible calculations about time and the motion of planets? And how do they relate to that king on the wall? In 760 AD, Maya kings are tying the events of their daily lives to the motions of planets and stars. They are tying them to this concept of cyclical time. That events that happen in their lives are repeating events that happened in deep mythology. They are repeating the events that happened by their patron gods, their patron deities. And when they set out to establish their kingdoms, what they're doing is they are, in fact, reestablishing kingdoms that have these long mythic histories. In the same way that that priest in the Dresden Codex is reenacting the creative act of the gods, the kings are reenacting the creative acts of their ancestors and their gods. But the important aspect of it is they're doing it on specific dates, right? Because that's the date when the event repeats. And if you cannot tell me when it really happened the first time, then and where the moon was, and where the sun was, and where Venus is in the sky, and where Mars is going to be, then it's not exactly the events we should be predicting. And that's what the Maya were about in the 7th and 8th century. They were about tying their lives to these cycles in the stars, to being able to fix their lives, which they knew to be minuscule in comparison to the great cosmic cycles around them. To give them meaning, they had to be connected to events that had come long before them and repeatedly happened through time. Now, who painted these things? Who made these calculations? On this wall of the room, the wall that Max found, this is what Max saw. This is what we excavated. And this is what we're able to see. 3 guys, painted in black, dressed in only loincloths, with a single medallion around their chest and a medallion in their headdress. This one is labeled as Sahun Tak, the older brother, the elder obsidian, to the junior that was shown on the other wall. These guys are shown as youths. That's the title above them, right? It's an order of people. Usually in Maya court scenes, you see everyone dressed up in all their best stuff. If you're going to appear before the king, you dress up to be before the king. You're there to be seen. In this instance, we have a bunch of guys painted black wearing loincloths. And they're all wearing the same loincloth. I mean, not exactly the same loincloth. Obviously, they're different loincloths. That would be gross. But they're wearing loincloths and these headdresses that we see them on. They're a uniform. It's a cohort. It's an order. And one of the remarkable things is that when we actually excavated, one of my graduate students, Franco Rossi, is going to finish his degree this year from Boston University. When he excavated under the floor behind this building, he found a relatively simple burial. It was buried with one pot, and 2 artifacts. The medallion for his chest and the medallion for his headdress. The guys that occupied and used this room, that are copying tables out of Maya books, that are putting tables into Maya books, that are making those calculations, that are interacting with the kings, that are making those plans that justify the lives of those royal activities. Those guys are living and dying in this house group attached, we think, to the palace. These are our Tah, our brothers Tah, our elder, our junior, and the other sets of titles that go with them. And this is what we're now finding at sites like Shultun and San Bartolo, sort of adding mystery, but taking away mystery, right? We have more knowledge about the Maya today than we've ever had. And at the same time, there are so many aspects of their lives and their knowledge that we are still figuring out every day. Thank you. And one day, actually the day that
I wanted to stop it right there because that's the end of that snippet that I took. It's the presentation that he did was, I believe, close to 2 hours. But I wanted to really bring this part out for various reasons. But one being, notice that he never brought in any of the people that live there that know the culture and know what he was finding. He was going based up off information that he had received from someone else, or information that he had just pieced together, being down there. But they're not talking to the people. I'll go back again and explain why they it was a difficult time on finding this mural and other murals. This is actually a grave site that he's digging up, or that his understudy dug up and found. And they did not talk to the people in that area, um, because, again, dealing with culture. You can read all the books you want to, but culture trumps books. Again, I'm not saying don't read any books. I'm saying when you read the books in correlation to, or even after you talk to the people of the culture, you'll have a better understanding. So the first thing that I wanted to bring out is Sister Gabrielle Union, who's already reading ahead, is that was not a female on the throne. I mean, excuse me, that was not a male on the throne. That was a female. So let's go back and look at this. And I'm going to show you that it's a female. But before we do that, let's talk about these. No, let's just go there. The female, or the one that he said was a male. There are a few things that I want to point out to show you that this is a female. First, let's deal with the headgear of jade or turquoise. This is the headgear of a female, chief, or Kaseke. Now, I'm going to break it down and show you. If you look at the top portion of her headdress, you will see that it is a serpent. It is a naga. So as you're looking at the serpent, see at the top, see how it sticks out there? You see you have the reddish brown portion of it, but the green portion that's there, that is, and I know it's showing a little small on the screen, and I apologize, but that is and I'll post those in the back chat and share. But that is a serpent. That is a snake. That is a naga. That is on the top of her head. And also you will see that she's holding in her left hand is the head of a rabbit. This is very significant when you're talking about dealing with the rabbit, because the rabbit is what in ancient Maya or She people would call a little coyote today, because the sense of smell that they have and the similar ears to a coyote. If you notice, the bunnies are all their nose are always all the time with their keen sense of smell. So that is why she is holding the rabbit. You will not see the mother, the great mother, without seeing the rabbit, either the head somewhere or in her lap. And I know some people may say, James Flames, Doodoo Vision doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, I'm glad that you said that because I've heard you. Here we go. Let me give you the example of the feminine principle. If you all can see that, this is what we call Ishchel or Itchel. I'm gonna type it in the chat. She is what you would call your great mother, or in other cultures they would call her the mother goddess. And as you can see on the top of her head is the serpent, and you can see she's also holding a lotus, smelling it, lotus flower in her right hand. And in her left hand is what is in her lap? The rabbit. And the reason being is because Ishchel was the mother of wisdom, the mother of medicine, the mother of crops, and the mother of all. Her consort or counterpart is known as Itzama or Itzamna. And I'll post him a little bit later. As you can tell, what's in the backdrop of this particular painting or portrait is the moon. She is symbolized by the moon, what the Bible calls and other books call the lesser light. Not the weaker light, but the lesser light. And the greater light again would be the sun. But that's another lesson for another time because I'm not going to keep you all too late tonight. So I wanted to break that down and let you know that no male, if you see any painting, if you go to Mesoamerica, the Yucatan, South America, even here in North America, if anyone comes across any type of finding a portrait, a painting, a mural, or whatever, whether it be in a tomb or a temple or in a cave, and you see that on the top, it is not a male, or it better not be. We also know this individual, which I go back again of studying Greek mythology. You know her best as Medusa because of the locks in the hair. And again, not to come across because I don't want people to think, oh, he's a racist. He's a racist. Uh, there are just some people on the planet whose hair does not lock, cannot lock. You can braid it, you can try to lock it, you can put beeswax and everything else on it, and it just won't stay. To where other people of certain ethnicities, they lock their hair and it'll stay as long as they want it to for the rest of their lives until they take it down. So I just wanted to put that out there, let you know that the first thing, I'm glad that he did his presentation, but when you know culture, you can see certain things of being able to tell. So now that you know that sitting there on the throne is a female, not a male. That is a woman. and to put it in their terms. And I know people don't like it, but I'll do it. I'll do this because I don't want to oversimplify things. But what we would call today as a queen, and we are, because if we say chief, chief can be masculine or feminine. So I'm putting a female chief that is sitting there on the throne, not a man. So that's number one. So let's go back to let's do another piece here. These three leaders, these three men, these three brothers. And I don't know if, again, if you can read the writing or not. If not, I will try my best to put it in the back chat, and hopefully Cap can unmute himself and post it on the A2 website. But it talks about these three men and what they represent and what they symbolize. One being, you mentioned the one feather and the headgear, but you're going to realize and you're going to recognize that this is not headgear. This is their hair. I'm going to say that again. Not headgear. This is their hair. And I like to break things down and make them real simple. For this reason is because we hear over and over and over in the generalization of, oh, that was us, this was us, and that was us, and all of it couldn't have been us. So I'm going to break down specifically who these people are, and you're going to be able to tell who they are. And everyone on this continent, and when I say continent, I'm including North, Central, and South America, because there was no division of the Americas until a canal was made by man. There was no division. So when I say this continent, I'm including North, Central, and South America. Now, these three men, I'm going to go to the next one. These three brothers that he was breaking down and saying the brothers ta, more so of they, which is why I've always said again, when you go down to that area and you're speaking to the wise ones and the elders and you say Mateo, then they're going to know what you're talking about. And they're not going to talk to you like they would talk to a gringo, a regular tourist. They're going to talk to you as if you know what you're talking about when you say the word Mateo. So if you don't remember that, remember the song, well, what's his name and what's her name? Mama Teo, Mama Teo. Just remember Mateo. When you get to those elders and wise ones, they'll look at you kind of funny, and it will be someone that would have to interpret for you. And so it's probably going to be like the granddaughter or the great niece or something like that to interpret for you, because they'll get so excited that their English will start to go bad. And because when you're speaking to people and you're trying to speak Spanish and they're trying to give you terminology that's in ancient Maya and translate it to Spanish, and if you're like me, you're going to miss something. So just at the little kids are usually the best one at it. If it's a little girl, because they pay more attention to detail, you're going to get the crust of what's being said. But I wanted you to concentrate on this headgear for a reason, and you're going to know who these people are. So if you all haven't figured out what's going on here, by this picture, this is the one that's here, that's coming before the great mother, the mother chief. And this is hand signals, and I'll talk about that at another date as well. If anyone has any questions, please, I don't want to hog up the time on the mic, and I promise I won't keep you long. I will be done in about 10 minutes. But if anyone has any questions, please put in the chat, and I'll try to answer them. And then once I get my technical difficulties out of the way, I'll be able to actually the next time open up a chat or a panel for anyone that has any questions. But I try not to make them too long, because I know when you do 7-8 hour what we call bills, that people don't get all the information and it gets kind of lost in the sauce. So This gentleman here that is kneeling down and doing a hand gesture of saying and coming in peace before the queen, and I hate using that terminology because people will go back to thinking about European, but that's the best way I can say it. She was in charge. As most of you know, that we were matrilineal over here and not patrilineal. So no one over here should really have an issue with that. If you do, just remember when you were a kid, people could say anything about your daddy was a gigolo, your daddy's a wino, your daddy ain't no good, your daddy's a deadbeat. But the minute you say mama, oh, now it's fighting words. So if you don't think that we were matrilineal, think about it. What was in your nature as a kid? Because as soon as somebody said, "Yo, mama," so it's over. That's it. They couldn't even get the rest of the joke out. It's a wrap. So I wanted to share that portion of what he's doing. And if you're not certain of what's going on, this is a marriage. This is the exchange of vows that this Indian, American Indian, or AKA Maya, or AKA she, or AKA, I'm going to break down exactly where he's from, um, that he is marrying the mother or the future mother that is sitting on the throne. But because William Saturno didn't talk to anyone within that culture and ask those questions, he's just trying to piece uh different parts of a puzzle together and not getting the whole picture. So I wanted to share that, and I'm going to show you what these people were doing and who they are. Remember, they get dressed up. This was a special occasion, especially when he mentioned the 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 disc, the disc representing what it is. He said, remember, there's a disc. They found a disc and they found a bowl that was in the ground. Now, here's the problem: the bowl that was in the ground with the disc, holding in that bowl, are the remnants of the descendants on this, what this mural was. It was never meant to be dug up. Only the people that are related or descendants from these people. And remember what he said at the time frame that it was painted, but this event took place at an earlier time. And he tried to say about these deities and in the sky. No, these were actually actual people that existed. And these people still exist today. A lot of them just don't know who they are. But it gets back to the representation of the moon. I know some of y'all still don't believe me. So let me go and show you these actual people. Oh, snap. Who is that dude? He is what you would call a Taino. What? Are you noticing the headgear, which is not headgear, which is his actual hair? See his hair? Do you see the garment in the lower extremities? Now, let me go back to the original picture of these. Let me go back. These dudes. See these three brothers right here? You see that? Do you see their hair? See their hair? Let's go back to his hair. Let's do this again. Now, do you see his hair? You all see that? Oh, still more proof. Let's see here. What does it say? This is a photograph with the actual writing on it. And again, I'll have this to be posted so you can see it up close and personal later. But he's breaking down and telling you this is a Taino Indian that they first came across when they were exploring the Caribbean islands. But it's going to get deeper than that. I tried to explain something to another individual who was lost in the sauce when there was a panel a few days ago. And I said, you know what? Let me leave it alone because he's not quite there yet. And we've all been there in our lives. I've been there in my lives too. But I know when I was a little younger, I just sat back like a human sponge and listened to my elders. I didn't try to talk over them because I understood that we were divinely and uniquely made, that we have two ears and one mouth. That means we should listen twice as much as we speak. When I mentioned the other day, and I've said this several times, that those in Mesoamerica, and I also have another historian that's actually a Quiche Maya historian. And it's hard to hear because the music's playing in the background, and they were setting up for him to actually go and speak. This is from 2018 when they had the Maya Cultural Day in the Yucatan. But he was breaking it down, and he was telling about the Garifunu or the Garinagu when he's saying that those that came that you know as the Garifuna are actually Mississippi Maya. Again, when you get to the Garifunu or the Garinagu, gets back to the snake that you will find in the Ohio region, all the way down through the Gulf of Mexico into Mesoamerica and down into South America. You'll find these same people. Whether you call them Taino, whether you call them Garifunu, whether you call them Caribs, whether you call them Arawak, these are the same people of the West that fought and killed the giants. Yes, I'm going on record. They killed the giants in the Americas, and the rest of them that they didn't kill were killed in the Great Flood. So that's a little tease for the next few live streams that I do. Like I said, I'll have everything set up so you can see for yourself. But I'm going to, before I close out, I'm going to show you something and they have a better understanding and you'll see it. And it's back in the day of NWA when they said the lyrics that'll blow your mind. Mississippi Maya, noticing the hair, not headgear, because he's not fully dressed to go to a formal ceremony. But I want you to see someone who is. Oh, snap. That dude. And you may not be able to see it as well as you could, but when you look at it, he has on the platelet of the moon. And the title of this book is The Indian Tribes of the Upper Mississippi. Oh, snap. Same people. Again, I can't stress it enough. The word Carib comes from the name of the animal that you find in the northern region, the Arctic regions of North America, called the caribou. because they were going up and down the Mississippi. So now you're understanding about certain names. Even the name of Iroquois. When people say, "Oh, I'm Iroquois, I'm this and I'm Iroquois and I'm this and I'm that," you know what it is? That is a French mispronunciation of Arawak. Oh, snap. I don't want anyone to believe me. Do the research for yourself, find out for yourself. Then come back and tell me if I'm wrong. Come back and tell me, say, Doodoo Vision, aka James Flames, you was wrong. And I'll come back on the next live stream and say I was wrong. But having taken 2 years of French, also having been studying ancient Maya and getting a lot of information from my relatives that are still down there. Oh, I'm gonna put it out there on Thursday. If anyone is interested, that the Garifuna or the Garinagu, they are actually having language courses on Facebook. So what I'll do is, if you're interested, send me a message and I'll add you into that group. I believe it's Thursday. I want to say Thursday at 5 o'clock. The homie to that, but remind me, and I will definitely, if you're interested, send me a message, and I will definitely get that to you. That way, it'll start to break down uh, those words, and a lot of words that people say that the language is dead. These languages are dead, but we use these words every day. The words aren't dead. Believe you me, especially if you're growing your own garden. Like I know my main man, David Corey, and Sister Gabrielle Union and Pamela Hall Pass. When you're dealing with these herbs and fruits and vegetables, when you start finding out the names of what they were, we don't the names haven't changed. Cacao is still chocolate. Chocolate is still the same. Hasn't changed. You deal with Chile. Chile still hasn't changed. Tabasco, using Tabasco sauce, hasn't changed. These names have not changed at all. So just wanted to, put that out there so you can see. And I hate the picture is smaller. I was trying to blow it up, but it's not allowing me to. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it is. Wait a minute. Oh, snap. Made it a little bigger. You all see the title of that? Indian tribes of the upper Mississippi Valley and the regions of, and then it breaks it down of all of these tribes. Do you see the same platelet? You see the same style of hair? Then these are the people that they found. That's why I said it can be no mistake when people try to tell you that people that look like us were not here. Because you have a group of people, and no offense to them, they are mestizos and they are claiming these things. But I'm sorry, if they're your people, why did they not paint themselves looking like modern day mestizos? When we mestizos are a mixture of groups of people, several groups of people. So why are they still finding these murals and artifacts of people that look like us? And this is why I say again, there's a separation between Hispanics and what they call Latinas or Latinos. There's a huge difference. Someone that is a Hispanic, they are paying tribute back to Iberia, aka Spain and Portugal. So they're telling you who your papa is. But by the same token, you have some Latinos that their papas may have come from there, but they know who they are. And this is why I say again, no child gets to choose their parents. So if anyone in the chat was able to choose their parents, let me know, and I will come back again and I will donate an hour at least apologizing. But I don't know. I know I wasn't able to choose my parents. So I don't want anyone to feel like they're inferior or another group is superior because of who their parents are. But that is the biggest difference between a Hispanic and a Latino. There's a huge difference. So anyone that's pushing Hispanic culture, multiculturalism, then you're like, hold up, stop, wait a minute, pause. Why are you pushing this multiculturalism? Is it because you're trying to bury the mother culture? That's all I want to know. So please let me know. I just wanted you all to see that again. Look, check out the headgear, check out the breastplate. Now let's go back to the original three that were at the scene that William Saturno was referring to. Bam. I ain't got to say no more. Telling you where they come from and what they were doing. Now you can go back and look at my previous videos when I talked about the dance of the devil. If you'll notice, they had on the headgear or the mask of the devil. And I'm gonna do. I have to do this before I close out, is because what we have been taught in Westernized European Christianity, that the devil means evil. And in the case, when you hear people talk about the dance of the devil, it's not dealing with evil. It is dealing with kissing bush. You've heard me say that word before, kissing bush. You will very rarely find that word in any textbook or anything. Matter of fact, if you look up kissing bush, you'll find a couple of writings, but then you'll primarily find my videos on kissing bush. I'm going to put it in the chat. Kissing bush. It translates to black devils, but it doesn't. Some things, in one language doesn't really translate into another. But they're saying the black devils, meaning that they are the ones of death, because it was the kissing bush that actually was slaying the giants. You'll also find another name of Kimi. Oh man, I wasn't even going to talk about that tonight. But Kimi is going to get you to Kemet. And you're going to find out who these foreigners are in what we call Egypt, modern day Egypt. But you're going to find why it was called Kime, Kwame, as someone had put in the chat before. Y'all going to tell you who they are on the next episode. But I wanted to break this down. I wasn't going to keep it long. It's about an hour. So if anyone has any questions in the chat, please let me know, because I also, the next one, I'll go into more into the mother, the Maya, the Nana. I'll go into that later, but I also want to go, because Brother Bones was breaking it down in the chat about zero. Because no matter how many times you try to divide zero, you still gonna come back to the whole. So again, when we're dealing with these numbers and we're dealing with these figures and dealing with who these people are, again, he interrupted someone's eternal rest, their resting place, well, their physical resting place, not their spiritual resting place, because we know that energy is neither lost nor destroyed. It's only transferred. So he did not ask the people in that area what he stumbled upon before he started doing his presentation. So this was actually a wedding ceremony, and the person that is in there in that mound is actually related to the people that are on the wall that his subordinate found. So I appreciate you all taking time out to listen and spending your night with me. I know it's late. It's the next day on the East Coast. So I'm gonna give my shout outs and then I'll be done. Shout out to my main man, Macadon One. Shout out to Bones, Cap, aka Cap. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Shout out to Brother No Sellout. Shout out to Sister Gabrielle Union, again, who left me hanging but didn't leave me hanging, who's reading before everybody else. Shout out to brother David Corey. Shout out to sister Pamela Hall Pass. Shout out to Michael Brown Harris Cheek with no S and Associates. In case y'all didn't know, because he only got one cheek. Because if you hit one, he don't have another one to turn. So catch yourself, watch yourself. Shout out to Bonton Dixon Circle. See, they don't know about Bonton Dixon Circle, man. If they did, and on the sunny south side of D-Town. Hope I didn't miss anybody. Shout out to those that were listening but didn't comment in the chat because they didn't want to get in trouble by anyone. So I understand. Shout out to those that may even give it a thumbs down a little later. I got shout outs for you too. So I appreciate you all listening. If you didn't get an opportunity, also a couple of people I want y'all to check out is 111 Truth Searcher. The young man that's doing some things, bringing some knowledge. And shout out to my main man, Special K. This is K, Copper Color K, in case they wasn't ready. Oh man, y'all need to check out their channels. I'll make sure I'm not miss. Oh, there he is, Copper Color K. Shout out to Copper Color K out there in the chat. I'll make sure I didn't miss anybody. But y'all need to go check out his channel, man, because he's breaking some stuff down, and he's got people confused, and they all upset. And yeah, it's time to start getting more information out there. And also, please check out No Grandma Killers. So anyone let anyone know, I'll let Coachella know. I've been trying to log into No Grandma Killers, and I've been getting, I don't know, it's been giving me something back that I can't log in. But I'll get with him on that. But shout out to No Grandma Killers, Sister Phoenix Moon, Coachella, all them that's over there. I don't want to say his name wrong because he's not that anymore. The Indian Mac and all those that are over there. And again, shout out to those that from the movie that, instead of she hate me, he hate me, all the rest of them over there, people that want to do sumo wrestling. I don't know nothing about all that. And people say they don't know what we're talking about. Shout out to the Kimbe Batumbo, not in my house. So shout out to him for doing all that blocking. But again, the finisher has arrived. There are so many people out there that are doing great things. Keep listening up. And in case you don't know, in the rising, you better catch that cab. Because if you don't catch that cab, you're going to be late. Because we're not circling back around the block. So, and shout out to The Grudge, a.k.a. y'all know him better as Copper Indio. Shout out to the Holy Man, Brother Kerry Bay. Appreciate y'all so very, very much. Y'all make sure y'all up for the Grand Rising show. As y'all can tell, I'm getting my voice back. I appreciate y'all once again. I'll make sure I didn't miss any questions in the chat about anything. But we're going to start breaking down more and more who these people are. Again, don't let the smooth taste fool you. And if you notice, that chief that was sitting on the throne wasn't the darkest of dark. And our relatives still do that today. Our grandpappy and grandmammy, some of them were a little darker than the other, and they always marry somebody who was a little lighter than them. So go back again. I'm not trying to promote my videos, but if you watch my videos again on the Kissing Bush, if you go back again and you watch them on the Dance of the Devil. The Dance of the Devil is the wedding procession as they're coming to town. And you'll notice that, yes, those are men with women masks, but notice that the women mask looks similar to the woman that is sitting on the throne that William Saturno said was a man. Don't get it confused. Sister Gabrielle Union, I know you're over there busy doing stuff. Oh, shout out to Miss Parker over there. And also shout out to Copper Color and Sister. I got you. Shout out to Oak Cliff Tip. Shout out to Katie, Bad Moon Rising. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I'm just going to say this. I'm out. Be good to each other and yourselves. I'm out.